was called a clumsy fool, but then, in the wealthy city of Lagos, where the rich live behind high fences and secrets wear diamonds, a maid walked into a mansion that swallowed souls and spat them out broken. But she was not like the rest. Her name was Adebimpe. Her silence would shake the gates of the mighty. No maid lasted with the billionaire's wife until Adebimpe did the impossible. The slap rang through the marble like thunder after a dry spell. "Odemie, you clumsy fool!" Madame Victoria screamed, her voice slicing through the air like a whip. Adebimpe froze. Her hand trembled as the silver tray clattered to the floor, shattering the crystal glasses into a rain of glittering shards. Champagne soaked into the rug like spilled gold. But it wasn't the mess that hurt, it was the humiliation. Madame Victoria Ajibade, the new wife of Chief Ajibade, the real estate billionaire, whose face was always on the news, towered above her. She was beautiful in a cold, deadly way. Her skin gleamed like glass, her eyes sharp and merciless. Every maid before Adebimpe had lasted only days under her cruelty. The last one had run out at midnight, barefoot, crying. The almighty Madame Victoria's voice still echoed in her head. What a woman. But Adebimpe wasn't like them. She had come from Ijebu, where hunger had taught her patience, and survival was an art. Her mother was sick, her younger brothers were in school, and she had promised herself that she would endure anything to keep sending home money as long as it is legitimate. Should I call the agency now? Madame Victoria sneered, her heels clicking as she circled the young maid. You people never learn. You come here thinking you can touch luxury. You forget your place. Bimpe knelt silently, gathering the pieces of glass with bleeding fingers. A sharp edge sliced into her palm, but she didn't flinch. She only whispered beneath her breath, "Oluwa, give me strength." Victoria smirked, mistaking her silence for weakness. But silence is not weakness. In Yoruba land, elders say, "Egun aláwọ̀ funfun kì í sáré láti bẹ̀rù ọmọdé." The spirit in white does not run from the hunter. And Adebimpe was that spirit. Days turned into weeks. The mansion on Banana Island began to notice something strange. The flowers bloomed longer when Adebimpe watered them. The cook smiled more. Even Chief Ajibade, once stern and distant, began to pause when she served him tea. She never spoke much, but when she did, her words carried peace. Her calm filled the air like soft incense. Then, one evening, the storm came. Victoria's secrets began to unravel. Whispers of another man, hidden accounts, and a plan to take everything from Chief Ajibade once his heart finally failed. But Adebimpe had seen it all. She had overheard her mistress over the phone calls, her last night meeting. And though she had every reason to fear, she chose a different path. She gathered courage, evidence, and truth. When the moment came, it was Adebimpe, the quiet maid, the one they called Mumu, who walked into Chief Ajibade's study, knelt, and said softly, "Sir, you deserve to know the truth." That night, everything changed. Victoria was exposed, Her empire of deceit shattered like the glasses she once made Adebimpe pick from the floor. And Chief Ajibade, with tears in his eyes, said only one thing. Bimpe, from today, no one calls you maid in this house again. They said no maid could survive under Victoria Ajibade, but one did, and she did more than survive. She changed destiny. In life, never mistake quietness for weakness, because sometimes the most silent souls are the ones chosen by faith to rewrite powerful stories. Bimpe was that silent soul. They say a snake cut in half still twitches before it dies. They didn't know Victoria Ajibade was a kind that grows another head. For months after her downfall, peace settled over the Ajibade mansion like gentle harmattan mist. Adebimpe, now called Miss Bimpe by the household, managed the staff with grace and quiet strength. She still woke before dawn, still prayed by the back garden, and still sent money home to her ailing mother in Ijebu. Chief Ajibade trusted her completely. He often said, "If all my wealth could be put in person's heart, it would look like yours, Bimpe." But in Lagos, peace never lasts long. One humid afternoon, a sleek black car stopped outside the mansion gate. The driver stepped out and opened the door, and out came Madame Victoria in dark glasses, red lipstick, and the kind of confidence only revenge could wear. She had returned from Ghana, where she had fled after her secrets were exposed. But she had not returned to beg. She had come to reclaim what she lost and destroy the girl who took her place. "Tell Chief I'm here," she said coldly to the gatekeeper. His wife has come home. Inside, Adebimpe froze when she saw her, the woman who once ruled the house like a queen of thorns now stood smiling like a serpent in silk. "Ha," Victoria said, her voice dripping with honey and venom. "My dear maid, or should I say, Madam's favorite, you must have enjoyed taking my spot." Bimpe bowed slightly, refusing to be drowned into her venom. "Good afternoon, ma." "Save your manners," Victoria hissed. "You think I don't know your kind? You pretend only until a man trusts you. Then you crawl into his heart." Chief Ajibade entered the room. Just then, his steps were firm. "Victoria," he said quietly, "you have no right here anymore." Her laughter was sharp. "You think this little village girl will protect you? She will betray you, just like every other one." But Chief ignored her. His eyes were fixed on Bimpe, the one person who never asked for anything, yet gave everything. "Security," he said finally. "See Madame out." Victoria's face burned with humiliation as guards approached. "You will regret this, Andrew," she screamed, struggling against their hold. "You will see, that girl will ruin you." But Adebimpe only whispered a prayer under her breath. Weeks passed. Then strange things began to happen. Documents went missing. A fire broke out in the garage. Anonymous emails accused Adebimpe of stealing. And one morning, Chief collapsed during breakfast, poisoned tea. The police came, fingers pointed, gossip spread like harmattan fire. "Who else could have done this?" They whispered. "That maid is too quiet." But Bimpe didn't cry. She prayed. And that night, when everyone had gone to bed, she crept to the back gate, where a familiar car waited in the shadows. Inside it, Madame Victoria sat, her face hard as stone. "So you came," Victoria said. "I told you, I always win." Bimpe held up a small recorder. "Yes, ma, you win when people fear you, but not this time." She pressed play. Victoria's own voice echoed from the device, recordings of her plotting with crooked lawyer planning to poison the chief to inherit his wealth. Victoria's face went pale. For the first time, the snake realized the prey had teeth. By dawn, the police were back. Victoria was arrested. Her empire finally crumbled for good. Chief Ajibade recovered weeks later and stood before Bimpe, tears in his eyes. "What in this world can I reward you with? You saved my life again. Tell me, what can I do for you?" Bimpe smiled softly. "Just help me build something that helps girls like me, sir. Girls who have dreams but no chances. They say no one rises from dust to dine among kings. But in Lagos, where wealth can blind and pride can destroy, one girl's humility turned ashes into crowns. This is the story of Adebimpe, the maid who became Destiny's chosen. Months after Madame Victoria's downfall, peace returned to the Ajibade mansion. The air was different, softer, calmer. The mansion that once echoed with insults and broken glass now hummed with quiet prayers and laughter. Chief Ajibade was a changed man. He had seen greed, betrayal, and deceit up close. And in the middle of it all, one lady had stood still like a candle that refused to die in the wind. Adebimpe. He opened a foundation in her name, the Adebimpe Foundation for Women, dedicated to helping poor girls find education and dignity through honest work. At first, Adebimpe couldn't believe it. "Sir, I'm only a maid," she had whispered, but Chief smiled. "You are the proof that character is the highest qualification." And so, a journey began. The foundation grew quickly. She trained hundreds of girls, housemaids, hawkers, widows, teaching them skills and giving them hope. Her story spread across Lagos like wildfire. Journalists wrote about her, the maid who changed lives. But while her light rose higher, someone else watched from the shadows. Victoria Ajibade, once the most feared woman in Banana Island, now lived in a small rented flat in Agege. Her once perfect hands washed clothes for money. Her diamond rings had long been pawned. Her friends avoided her calls. At night, she sat by the window staring into nothingness, replaying her past like a cursed song. Each slap, each insult, each maid she had broken now haunted her. She remembered one in particular, a quiet lady she once made kneel on cold marble, her palms bleeding from broken glass. That lady was now on TV, shaking hands with ministers, her name chanted in halls, Adebimpe Ajibade Foundation. The announcer said proudly. Victoria froze. Ajibade. She whispered, "She is still using his name?" Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Has that girl replaced me?" One evening, The foundation hosted its first anniversary gala. The hall glittered with gold lights, powerful guests, and cameras flashing like fireflies. Chief Ajibade, now older and gentler, stood beside Adebimpe as she gave her speech. "Everything I am," she said softly, "was built on faith, humility, and forgiveness. Even when life slapped me, I chose to rise instead of revenge." The crowd applauded, but Chief didn't clap. He watched her with quiet admiration. When the event ended, he asked her to stay behind. They stood alone in the garden under the moonlight. "Bimpe," he said, his voice trembling, "I have seen wealth destroy people. I have seen pride break homes. But you rebuild what others destroy. You gave me peace I never knew I needed." She lowered her eyes shyly. "Sir," he took a deep breath, "let me honor you, not as an employer, but as a man who has learned to love again. Adebimpe, will you be my wife?" Bimpe's breath caught in her chest. Her knees weakened. "Sir, people will talk," she whispered. "Let them," he said softly. "I'm not marrying the maid. I'm marrying the woman who saved my soul." Tears filled her eyes. She nodded. That night, beneath the moonlight of Ikoyi, the same girl who once knelt to pick broken glass became the chosen one to mend a broken heart. When news broke that Chief Ajibade was marrying his former maid, Lagos trembled. Gossip bloggers called it the most unexpected wedding of the year. But in the little Agege apartment, Victoria's world collapsed completely. She tore the newspapers apart. "No! No, it can't be." She stormed into the streets, laughing bitterly through her tears. "She took everything, my husband, my home, my name." But no one listened. She was now a ghost of herself, a warning in human form. The day came. Adebimpe walked down the aisle in a simple but elegant white lace gown. The hall glowed with gold lights, and soft Yoruba drums played in the background. Chiefs, governors, and even former staff stood watching the moment that felt like poetry. Chief Ajibade held her hand and whispered, "You taught me that true royalty is not in blood, but in behavior." When she smiled, everyone could see the peace that surrounded her. But outside the gate, hidden behind the trees, Victoria stood watching, dressed in rags, her eyes full of tears. She whispered, "Oluwa, forgive me. I thought power made me queen, but now I see it is kindness that wears the crown." Months later, Victoria walked into the Adebimpe Foundation office, timid, pale, and trembling. Bimpe recognized her immediately. She stood, her eyes soft, and walked towards the woman who once tormented her. "Madam," she said gently, "you're welcome." Victoria fell to her knees. "Forgive me," she whispered. "I didn't know what I was doing." Bimpe knelt too, holding her hands. "We all fall, ma. What matters is who helps us rise again." The two women wept, and for the first time, peace truly came to both hearts. Adebimpe's patience turned pain to purpose, and even her enemy found redemption through her mercy. So remember this: be careful how you treat people when you are on top, because tomorrow the same people might hold a ladder when you are falling. Thank you my besties, if you like my video, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment. Do not forget to share with your loved ones. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate your time spent on my channel. I do not take any of your support for granted. Until I come again your way with another interesting and educating story. Bye for now.